What is good, everyone? Shoops What is good, everyone? Shoops here. Today we'll be taking a look at this, the Ace 6.5. As a recovering serial gacha roller and a CSGO collector, the Gamba stays in my blood, so this board is actually quite perfect for me. The board also happens to come with a matching themed box of cards, which is pretty cool. I'll be sure to win back my mortgage with these.
Casinos literally tell you straight up, they give you the odds. And you don't have to be a mathematical genius to plug those odds in. They literally say you will win over a period of time.
I'm just kidding. Don't gamba, boys. Gambaing is terrible. Very, very bad. You know what they say, you can only lose 100% of your bank account, but make 2,000%. Wait, that doesn't really help my case. All jokes aside though, the theme of the board doesn't actually have to do with any Gamba activities. It's actually based on the designer's love for magic tricks, but you know my degenerate ass correlates any parts of playing cards to the casino. Anyways, a bit more detail on the board itself. The starting price of the board is 300 USD. It is a custom 65% gasket mounted board, featuring a bit more of a exploded layout with the arrow and nav cluster separated, also featuring a top right blocker badge as well. The overall design is pretty clean, simple koala sides as well as a two-piece weight. The weight is also infilled, by the way, which is pretty nice. The pink is not my favorite color, but this is what we're working with. So the group buy is currently running right now until March 14th. The vendor for each region will be listed right here. The colors available will be listed right here as well. And the board will come with some different weight options as well as badge options, different full and half plates, as well as solder or hotswap PCB. Welcome to another episode of Shoops Talks Without a Fucking Script. I hope you guys are all doing well. So for this build, we're going with the half plate, carbon half plate option. The build process was pretty good. There was one slight issue, which was that the gaskets were a little too long and I had to cut them. It was a bit annoying, but I hope they fixed that for the actual production run. Besides that, I'm actually going to be traveling a little bit soon. I'm not sure if you guys want any like vlog content. I've never done that before because I don't touch grass, but it's a rare opportunity, so let me know if you guys would be interested in that type of video. But yeah, so looking at the board fully built, quite a hefty boy actually. This is a very cute build, I guess, with GMK Noel. I'm personally not the biggest fan of the separated cluster usually, but with the thinner bezels on this board, I think it doesn't look as chunky, and overall it looks pretty clean. But let's see how this types and feels. So I want to note that my review will be on the half plate configuration with no foam because that is what I went with. Now, I was only sent the hotswap PCB and I usually avoid hotswap and plateless. This time around, I actually think it's fine. At least with MX Blacks, the hotswap sockets on the Ace actually was quite tight, and it was tight enough to hold all the switches fine. With the half plate, with basically no wiggle. Honestly, if you don't want to solder, I think the PCB here is tight enough, which is pretty cool. Now moving on to the typing feel, there are two flex cuts here and right here around the alphas. The PCB, however, is 1.6mm, which isn't the thin PCB, so I think the flex cuts do work out decently well. There are 3 mounting points with 1 in the middle, which I thought would make the overall experience quite a bit stiff, but in the half plate form with the flex cuts, the bottom out is quite soft with a fair bit of bounce. There is the possibility of bottoming out the PCB if you exert a lot of force, but unless you got a 6-pack on your fingertips and are absolutely smashing the keys, I think the chances of bottoming out when typing normally is slim to none. As for the sound profile of the board sounds pretty good, at least for my personal preferences. It is clean with that slightly deeper plateless sound. The sound isn't very muted and is quite lively, and honestly, I really quite like how the build turned out. Overall, I think the board is pretty darn good. It is on the more expensive side compared to many other 65s coming out nowadays, and I wasn't too excited when I heard another 65% gasket board, but the sound and layout is decently unique, and with the half plate, I think the typing experience is definitely quite good for the price as well.